Number 1, precautions. A. Unpacking the GS690 control panel. The GS690 control panel contains sensitive electronic components. Use care when handling the shipping box and avoid sharp impacts or dropping. B. Do not use sharp objects to cut the box. Be careful when using sharp instruments to open the shipping box to avoid possible cosmetic damage to the control panel. C. Removing the GS690 from the packing box. Carefully remove the control panel from the shipping box and examine it for any obvious damage that may have happened during shipping. D. Check for any loose objects that may be in the box. When removing the control panel, pay particular attention to any rattling that may be a sign of components such as terminal screws that may have become loose during shipping. Do not discard these components when opening the control panel. E. Do not connect power to the GS690 until instructed to do so. Number 2, contents of the shipping box. A. GS690 control panel. B. Accessory bag containing the following items. 1. Screws, 3 pieces. 2. Battery connecting wire, 3 pieces. 3. Terminal resistance, 2 pieces. 4. Magnetic loops, 2 pieces. 5. Keys, 2 pieces. 6. Fuse, 2 pieces. 3. GS690 functional overview. A. The GS690 is an analog addressable fire alarm system that provides 2 signaling line circuits, SLC, loops for initiating, notification, and input-output devices. B. Each device connected to a specific loop must be assigned a unique address. C. Individual device can also be assigned by the addressing scheme to one of 40 zones. 4. A quick tour of the GS690. A. Frontal view. Front door is closed and locked. No access to controls. B. Inside the front cover. Requires authorization access key. 1. 40 character by 4 line LCD display provides system and device status information such as fire alarm, fault, and interactive information during system programming. Number 2. Function buttons used for system operation such as acknowledging an alarm, silencing an alarm, system reset, and programming. Number 3. Indicator lamps identify specific system status and provide zone status information. C. Inside the back cover, field wiring terminals that requires key and removal of 2 screws. 1. Loop 1, loop 2, SLC connection for 2 loops. 2. NAC 1, NAC 2, conventional bell circuit connection. 3. Relay 1, Relay 2, alarm relay output contacts, 2 sets. 4. Relay 3, Treble relay output contacts, 1 set. 5. Ground and 24 volts. Operating power for addressable horn strobes, 24 volts DC. 5. Compatible devices used with the GS690 to build a fire alarm system. A. GS670 Analog Addressable Smoke Detector. B. GS650 Analog Addressable Heat Detector. C. GS620 Addressable Manual Pull Station. D. GS621 Addressable Input-Output Module. E. GS622A Addressable Horn Strobe. F. GS623 Isolator Module. G. GS626 Conventional Alarm Bell. H. GS628 Handheld Programmer for Addressable Devices. 6. Tools and materials required for system installation. These must be supplied by the system installer and include the following: A. Handheld programmer for addressable devices. B. Suitable tools including flat blade screwdrivers. C. Primary power wiring connection. D. Fire alarm rated cable, AWG18 loops. E. 2 pieces 10K ohm terminal. 7. Preparation of addressable devices for connection to the system. All addressable devices must be assigned an address programmed before connection to the SOC. Note that each device on a loop must be assigned its own address. No 2 devices on a loop can have the same address. Programming is carried out using the GS628 electronic handheld programmer purchased separately from SITERWELL Electronics Company Limited. As follows: A. Press the power key to turn the programmer on. B. Connect the 2 terminals of the programmer to the signaling, not power terminals of the device to be programmed. Positive and negative ends. Press the right key on the programmer and then press the number key to select and set the address code. As an example, the GS670 Intelligent Smoke Detector is assigned to address 1. Press the right key and the programming is completed. C. Other addressable devices are coded in the same way. GS650 Intelligent Temperature Alarm, address number 2. GS621 I/O module will occupy 2 addresses, address number 3 and address number 4. GS620 Intelligent Manual Pull Station, address number 5. GS GS622-A Intelligent Audible and Visual Alarm Address.
Number 96. The address of horn strobes must be from number 96 to number 127.
D. The GS626 alarm bell and GS623 isolators are not addressable and therefore do not need to be programmed with an address. E. If the address of any device needs to be verified, press the read key twice and the device address code will be displayed. 8. Wiring the fire alarm system. This system must be installed in accordance with the requirements of NFPA 72, the National Fire Alarm and Signaling Code, and local codes and regulations. It is the responsibility of the installer to be fully conversant with these requirements before beginning installation. A. Signal line circuit SLC1 terminal loops 1 plus and minus. Loosen the terminal screws with a flat blade screwdriver and connect the SLC loop 1 wiring red wire to the plus terminal and black wire to the minus terminal. Note that the SLC circuits must utilize AWG18 fire alarm cable. B. Where fault isolation modules are required, the SLC cable from the control panel side is to be connected to the input side of the GS623 isolation module, red wire to the plus terminal and black wire to the minus terminal. The output side of the isolation module is connected to the loop ahead of other devices. C. Connection of the GS670 smoke detectors to the SLC is achieved by wiring the detector biggies. Begin by removing the detector head from the base and connect the SLC cable red wire to the plus terminal and black wire to the minus terminal of the base. Reinstall the detector head in the base and then proceed to the next device. D. Connection of the GS650 heat detector to the SLC. Remove the detector head from its base and wire the red wire to the plus terminal and black wire to the minus terminal. E. Connection of the GS621 input-output I/O module on the SLC. Connect the red terminal plus to terminal 1 and the black wire minus to terminal 2 respectively. The other 3 terminals on the I/O module are controlled relay outputs or inputs. F. Connect the GS690 manual pull station to the SLC by connecting the red wire to the positive and black wire to the negative terminals of the GS690 manual pull station. G. Connect the GS622-A addressable horn strobe to the SLC by connecting the red wire to the plus terminal and the black wire to the minus negative terminal. Continue the SLC cable through the output side of the horn strobe. H. The GS622-A addressable horn strobe requires a separate 24-volt power source to support its high current requirements. This is accomplished by a separate 2-conductor cable from the control panel terminals plus 24 volt and ground, red and black wires respectively, to the 24-volt horn strobes. I. SLC loop 2 is wired in the same manner as loop 1. If it is not used, a jumper wire must be installed between the plus and minus terminals. J. The GS626 bells are installed on one of 2 notification appliance circuits, NAC 1 and NAC 2, that each are terminated with a 10K ohm end-of-line resistor. K. If a NAC circuit is not used, a 10K ohm resistor must be attached across its terminals at the control panel to avoid a loop fault trouble signal. L. Battery installation. 1. Remove the battery retaining bracket. 2. Place 2 12-volt, 12-amp-hour batteries into the battery tray. 3. Using the short blue wire with spade connectors at each end, connect the batteries in series, plus terminal of one battery to the minus terminal of the second battery. Remove the red and black wires from the accessory package and connect them to the remaining plus and minus terminals of the two batteries. 5. Access the battery terminal wires at the control panel main board and connect these to the wires installed in step 4, making sure that the red wire is connected to the battery red lead and the black wire is connected to the black lead. 6. Connection of battery power will result in a primary power trouble signal. Therefore, disconnect the red lead from the main board until primary power is connected. 7. Replace the bracket and tighten the retaining screws.
M. Close the inner door and secure with retaining screws after completing wiring.
9. Primary power supply connection. 1. Primary power must be supplied by a dedicated branch circuit. 2. Primary power terminals are located behind a protective bottom cover. Use a flat blade screwdriver to remove the screws securing the cover. 3. Connect primary wiring hot terminal to terminal L, grounded neutral to terminal N, and ground wire to terminal G. 4. Securely tighten terminal screws. 5. Replace terminal cover. Programming the system. The GS690 utilizes programmed control logic to link input sensors to audible and visual notification appliances, as well as logical output control functions. This is achieved by assigning each addressable device to one of 40 zones. The system constantly analyzes outputs from the various sensors, compares this data against stored program settings and algorithms, and in turn activates the appropriate outputs. Typically, input devices would be programmed to the same zone as their associated output zone. Under this configuration, activation of a sensor results in immediate activation of the output device on the same zone. Notice, access to system programming is enabled by entering the system administrator password. The factory default code is 987321. It is highly recommended that as part of the system programming, this code is changed. It is extremely important that this new code be recorded and stored in a safe place. A. Assignment of fire detectors to zones. Press the memory key followed by the administrator password. 987321 is the default code. On the control panel keyboard to enter the programming mode, press 212 on the keyboard to assign the device to Zone 1. GS670 smoke detector is then allocated to Zone 1. 2. GS650 heat detector is then allocated to Zone 2. GS6211 I/O module is assigned to Zone 4. Assignment of fire detectors to specific horn, strobes, and bells. Press the MEM key followed by the administrator password on the control panel keyboard to enter the programming mode. Input devices such as smoke, heat, and manual pull stations must be assigned to the same zone as the output devices such as horn strobes. Sequentially assign individual related input and output devices to their respective zones. Item 11. Verify device address in a zone. When number 1, GS670 addressable smoke detector alarms, the light of Zone 1 is activated. Item 12. System functional test. A. Activate a GS620 manual pull station. B. The control panel will in turn switch to the alarm condition, display the fire alarm status. The loop number, the address of the fire alarm device, and the device type. C. The control panel activates the associated horn strobes and alarm bell. D. Press the fire key to display the fire alarm information. E. Press the memory key and enter the password to gain access to the system control functions. F. Press silent alarm to silence the fire alarm. G. Silencing the alarm does not reset the alarm. In order to restore the system, the activated manual pull station must first be restored, and subsequently the reset key can be operated to restore the system to the normal supervisory condition. Item 13. System data retrieval. A. The GS690 control panel includes an event log that can store 4,000 historical event records on a first-in, first-out basis. B. Access to the event log is enabled by entering the system administrator password. The event log includes fire alarm event information, fault event information, system and device programming information.